You're listening to the Microsoft Innovation Podcast, where we explore the intersection of people, business, and technology. This year, we're adding a new show to our lineup, The AI Advantage, to help you learn the skills you need to thrive in the AI era.
Welcome to the Ecosystem Show. We're thrilled to have you with us. Here we challenge traditional mindsets and explore innovative approaches to maximizing the value of your software estate. We don't expect you to agree with everything. Challenge us, share your thoughts, and let's grow together. Now, let's dive in. It's showtime. Welcome. How are you, Anna? Just starting and trying some new tech out today.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Good evening is right.
Good evening is right for you. Yeah, it's good morning for me. I've been running around all morning as per usual.
Tell me, what's been happening in your world in the last week? Because I've got some interesting topics to discuss today.
Oh my goodness. Well, I cannot wait for your interesting topics. It's work-wise, because life-wise, there's been a bit of chaos in my life, but I don't think anybody's surprised by that. Like, there's always chaos in our life. But work-wise, Mark, for the past few months, maybe a year, we've started working on a new delivery concept, or like proving concept.
Yeah.
And we call it lab cycles because it's like a laboratory where you've got, highly skilled engineers going into a room and trying to sort something up. Like, we've been doing this for ages with hackathons and things like that. But I honestly found that the Agile methodology is just not working anymore.
Interesting.
It simply isn't working. Everybody has bent it to whatever their organization, does best. And in the end, you're still going back to a sort of fragile. Everybody signs to a fixed price project. And then they're trying to negotiate. Oh no, that's a change. Oh no, give me all of the spec. Estimating, but not really. Like, it just didn't work anymore. So with these labs, what we've been doing for the past year or so is put in these highly effective, professional, expensive as hell engineers who go into a room and try to solve the problem in 2 weeks, right? That's very, very different from an agile sprint, because at the end of 2 weeks, these teams deliver into production. It's done. It's going out there. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. A type of fail fast, that doesn't mean, oh, that feature or that user story was half baked or whatever. We're going to bring another user story in, or no. Is you actually see it. And in the past week, I've been involved in one of these projects, and it was amazing. The mix of out-of-the-box functionality is now mind-blowing, because everything's out of the box. AI, web development, business applications development. Everything's out of the box now. So yeah. It's amazing. I'm very excited about it. It's so successful. I've never seen progress like that.
Did I hear you right when you called it fragile? Did you call it fragile? I love that. I love. Never heard that little
just not
take
agile
on it
anymore.
Yeah. It's perfect. It's funny, I've had many fights with project managers over my career where they want to turn managing the project to be more important than the outcomes of the project.
Oh my God,
that the methodology is, more important. And it can be challenging. I love it. And the lab cycles, and from my side, what I'm seeing already, more and more people are getting on board with it. It's exciting. It's delivering outcomes rapidly, which is superb. And these are in big enterprise organizations that we're doing this. Can I share something with you that I found really interesting? Hit the web this week. I'm going to share my screen quickly, and it was this. Ryan Cunningham did a post 1 day ago around the future of app development. Okay, for those that don't know, Ryan is the head of, what is he the head of? He's the head of...
Our platform intelligent applications.
Yeah, but look at this. Vibe coding for the enterprise.
Oh, no.
And I found, oh my gosh, this is really interesting. Vibe coding for the enterprise, right?
Right.
And the reason I found this interesting is on the 7th of May, I recorded this video with Ryan.
Is the Power Platform now the ultimate vibe platform?
Vibe coding, yes. No, vibe. I was doing some vibe coding this morning, actually. My controversial opinion is that vibe coding is a term software people started using to be more comfortable talking about low code without actually having to use that word.
And there's another video that just came out with Paul Clumsy that he did today that's been posted on YouTube. And I'll quickly just show that for a second. Let me see this one here. So Paul Clumsy's got a podcast. Go up there and have a look at it. And I won't share any more, but suffice to say that he talks about the pivot Microsoft is making from not using citizen developer, low code, or anything like that anymore. An interesting rationale. It's well worth a listen. It's about 3 minutes into that recording, where he once again expounds this kind of moving away, and a lot of the new feature sets that are coming out is allowing this rapid ability to write code into the Power Platform via AI. Basically, and really vibe coding, but with all the guardrails in place, with all the, the ALM type functionality on the back end. But I think it's such interesting times, and that the potential for us to move to or refactor. But, for years, the Power Platform's been sold as a platform that you can modernize your apps, right? It's one of the main go-to-market features of the Power Platform. And I feel more than ever there's going to be this ability to rapidly modernize applications, particularly applications where you might have the code either compiled or uncompiled, and you can kind of give it that degree. You could give AI that degree of exposure to how the logic layer, et cetera, is potentially, depending how old it is and kind of what quality of code you have. But to reproduce applications of yesteryear, and they're saying now there's no COBOL programmers in the world, but something like 30% of banks still have COBOL as a core. It's what their systems are developed on, but there's not very many COBOL developers anymore.
They chill somewhere on the beach, and then they charge $1 million per hour for their expertise, and it's insane.
Is the future going to allow us to refactor all that, like bring that back or modernize a code base that's potentially ages old and then extend it?
I think that's really interesting. I think it could, as long as we know what it does. In my opinion, in my experience, the number one problem when going into an institution to try and refactor something or modernize something was not the code, was not the actual program, was the fact that nobody knew what the rules were. Yeah. Like they knew that this is the result that I'm getting and that's correct. But they didn't actually know that how to get to the outcome. And I think it's gonna be the same with these Cobalt developers. It's not the fact that they're the only ones who know the code. They're the only ones who know the rules and how to test it. So I think that will happen more and more, but I'm not sure that it can happen right now before you have that human input to tell you what the rules are. Or are you saying that the AI is going to be able to reverse engineer? I'm now thinking out loud, actually.
Yeah.
Taking an input and an output and saying, I believe this is it.
Yeah. It's such interesting times we're in, where it's kind of like everything we have known has been immovable now potentially allows you to look at it from a totally different view. It allows you to assess it differently. I'm finding daily my productivity levels are stepping to a new level, particularly of all the AIs out there, M365 Copilot. I was in a position last week that I needed to write a proposal. I didn't know where the proposal templates were on the network because of time zone differences. There was nobody to ask. I had threads and threads of email conversations across the organization with the client. I was able to bring those all into a notebook and use the researcher agent inside of M365 Copilot and be able to, one, identify what was our latest copy that we did for writing proposals. It gave me the file. So I took the file. Then I was able to take all the content headings of that file and say, okay, based on all the discussions we have, refactor in all the content that we've agreed. These are going to be the deliverables, the blah, 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 blah. And it cross-references it. So it goes, hey, in this email, this is where it was said on this line. So you can go and check that it's all there and accurate. And it allowed me to produce a file probably in about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, which in yesteryear would have been a half day to a full day's work to do that same kind of draft or get it up to that point.
It would have been a 2 weeks work for me.
But the thing is, that's data on the network, right? This is why I think Microsoft has an unbelievable advantage with the graph, the Microsoft graph, in that it exposed up to me anytime we had talked about this customer inside our organization, the conversations were able to be corralled together to actually, so nothing was missed. I did another one in the last 24 hours where I sat down with the individual that had had a conversation with the client, and he went through all the things that he said, he showed me on screen. This is what we've agreed to cover, blah, 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 blah. I was able then to just take that transcript and say, what were the agreed deliverables with the customer? Format it up in a nice schedule and I've sent it back for a review. But I know if I had just been doing that on air or just writing notes in that conversation, there would have been things missed. Absolutely. But with the transcription of that conversation, nothing is missed.
Yes, exactly. And so I have a question here. How do you, what do you do next? Do you read the whole thing and make sure that it's indeed correct? Do you go by your memory and do you add your expertise? And does the AI learn from that?
Yeah. So a couple of things that I did is that, one, I read it with an audio reader, right? And the reason I do that is that I pick up mistakes in the ear quicker than I do in the eyes, right? And so for me, I'm like, oh, that's not right. I wouldn't say that. And so then I can go in and correct it, right? Or it mixes, or let's say it brings in content that's not relevant to this discussion, and being able to go, okay, let's clean that up. And then, I know this is going to be really important for the customer because of the conversations I've been in. I will then, do some free-form writing. So it is a fully collaborative document. It's already based on the framework of how we propose. So it's not like, I'm not writing a prompt that just says, hey, create a proposal based on everything you can find, right? It's not, it's very section by section. It's not like do the whole thing. So, so once I'd created all, for example, I'd say, okay, now let's look at an executive summary as an example. And so I know it's going through what it would, I was up to 15 pages, I think, by that point, and then was able to, and then of course I didn't let it do the pricing. I did the pricing in another document, and then brought that pricing back in. So I'm finding at the moment it's not good at formatting. So I don't let it do any of the formatting type things. And then there's also some, what I call AI fingerprints, right? Which are things that are kind of they're almost jarring in that this is definitely a way AI talks. And I actually just wrote a mega prompt the other day that, and when I say it's a mega prompt, it's a prompt that's what I also call it a recursive prompt. So before it runs, it goes out on the internet and says, identify any new changes since the last date of this prompt, and I have the prompt date built into the prompt, any new kind of words, phrases, or things that people across any social media is going, oh, that looks like AI. So the common ones are the EM dash, right? Or overuse of the Oxford comma.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a discussion with this a few weeks ago with Andrew on the podcast, and because he's written a book, right? And one of the things that when you're going through editorial review and writing a book is that why EM is a big flag nowadays is it's not a character on the keyboard. You have to put the code in to make the EM dash, which is a long dash, and you can either have it butt up hard against each word, or you can have a space between the words and how you use it. But the thing is, in correct grammar, it is the right thing to use. And in his book, what was it? Field of Dreams? No, was it?
Field Blends.
Field Blends. In his book, Field Blends, his editor had said to him, and of course, that was written, in 2018?
I think so.
Roundabout? How's that? I think I'm pretty on.
I don't know.
I think around 2018.
2019 to be fair.
Around that time frame. And his editor said to him, I'm very impressed in the way you know how to use the EM dash or that long dash. But nowadays, it's a very clear indicator, particularly in any type of social content. If you see it, you know it's AI generated, right? It's just like red herring. And then there's a lot of phrases where it kind of over-engineers a structure of a sentence and things like that. Doesn't sound genuine. And so now I've got this prompt that goes out, and it's like the prompt is probably about 3 pages in length with all the phrases and stuff that I have collected that I will sanitize. If I have used AI as part of something of authoring, I will do this as a final sanity check to say, hey, flag on every line where this sounds like it is AI content that's been generated. So it's, how you said, do I do a review and I do a whole bunch of steps of cleanup and adding my expertise that the AI doesn't know. And of course, then inside your organization, that now becomes part of the knowledge that your next response, engagement with the client, et cetera, can be built on. So I think the ability for an organization now to capture its internal knowledge that is in the way people communicate, whether it's on Teams or in Word documents or PowerPoint presentations, becomes incredibly available to everybody to create a better outcome in the organization. And you couldn't do that with public-based AI, I don't think.
I remember when going to work for Microsoft, because they have their whole entire Bing search engine, right? And their Bing kind of takes, now it works for any organization too, but back then it only worked for Microsoft. So when you typed anything within the search engine in Bing, you could see all of your colleagues' PowerPoint presentations, documentation, things like that. And there was even a little RFP library where you had a little a helping hand to be able to, in my particular case, to help customers, to help partners, price something correctly when they went to do a pitch, a deal. And that without having any sort of discounts or whatever from Microsoft, because they didn't know, because they didn't have the deal yet. Anyway, I thought that was magical. That alone improved my productivity immensely because I could immediately see those decks, demos, little videos, anything that an individual would have created for their job. And you could use that freely. And of course, it was all labeled. Think per view, client confidential or whatever. And you knew what to do. It was in full display. But I guess what I'm saying is, tying back to what she was saying, I never expected, the Bing engine to give me exactly what I want. I expected it to give me bits of information that I could then put into my work and assemble. And, the researcher engine now is so much more advanced, but you're still using your experience, your knowledge, your prompt engineering. So whenever people whenever people say, oh, I don't know, like AI is just like rubbish, it just doesn't work, or they overuse it and they let those disingenuous phrases slip into conversations, emails, documentation, thus proving that their skill in AI is simply not on par. Right now, it's framed to say something about the technology, but I think very soon it's going to be like, clearly you don't know how to turn on the lights type of situation, right? So it's creating new jobs.
Honestly, I do not see a future where AI is going to wipe out the workforce.
No.
I see so many new, Chris, in the last episode we recorded, brought up the salary survey that's been done recently, and prompt engineers are getting higher incomes than
data scientists.
Yeah, which, blew my mind. But data science has been around quite some time, and it was there and was very prominent, like in the machine learning age of AI and things like that. But the thing is that I do see us, the ability to converse, and so not what we call a one-shot prompt, but have an ongoing conversation with AI is definitely a skill that everybody can develop, but you actually got to proactively do it and develop it, because you'll soon see the nuances and the gotchas and like in any human communication, the things that you need to correct for or compensate for. But you won't get that if you have one conversation and you're one and done, and you don't have that dialogue.
But that takes us to a totally different conversation, which is, how are people built? How are people expecting to carry out a job, and what do they want from it as well, right? It is, and I've bumped into that a lot. A few weeks ago, we're trying to suss out, where pro-code development is going and what the job market is. And, we talked about this and what sort of skills you have to be a really, really, really good software developer or architect or whatever. And in my mind, it came back to being an autonomous player, or like somebody who is able to own a piece of work and to do everything in their power to make it work. That's why I was saying that this labs concept is working really well. But it's working really well because you have like a SWAT team, man. Like people who are able to perform a task autonomously and own the result and move towards a goal rather than the procedures of delivering something. So I guess with that in mind, I read this article on The Economist, just this week or last week, I can't remember because I cannot remember anything. Thank God with AI to remind me of stuff. Where people were a British analyst actually was saying that the UK market is moving towards a servicing market or a file building exercise. Yes, you can do that file. You can take that concept of a file and, put it on top of everything, right? A program of work, delivering something. Yes. But the American market is going to move towards, this idea of autonomy. And they were talking about these top tier programmers because it was all about technology, where's programming going, and about how these top tier programmers actually move from the top tier companies, Anthropic, OpenAI, Meta, and there was even an example of this, highly skilled top tier programmer who moved from Anthropic to Meta, and he felt the need to announce publicly that now he was not paid $10 million for that job. So that's so this is the expectation, right? That's the expectation. But this economist analyst was also saying that these top tier programmers, they know how to imagine a product, develop the product, bringing it into the market quickly, have their exact speech on point, do that pricing, create the proposal, do everything, right?
Yeah.
And for that, you're no longer doing a task by task thing. The skill that you are building is something that we've all been dreading if we are a programmer, like I am, and that is in soft skill, talking to other people, trying to build something and understanding what other people think. So yeah, that's the reality. Are you one of those people? You will make probably 10 million.
Yeah. Hey, Will.
Oh, I
10
want
million.
to I've joined the right podcast. Tell me.
Well, there's this article in The Economist, Will. I'll give you a link. I think, honestly, you should apply. You're totally up there.
I'm down. I don't know what it is, but my confidence and arrogance just says I'm in. And I love it. What a way to join. Yes.
I was on a call this morning at the wee hours, and Andrew was on the call as well, and talking about one of the top 5 law firms in the world that he met at, what was that AI conference recently?
AI for Good.
AI for Good. And what was interesting, right, is that if you look at the legal profession, I've known for years, I think they bill in 3-minute increments.
Yeah,
that's their kind of model. And they were talking, and this is a law firm, I think based in the US, that is definitely leaning in and going in, that they're advising their clients on AI. But one of the examples they have in-house and how they're having to reinvent how they price, talking before, Anna, about pricing, is that one of their things, let's say they get an item or a matter that they have to review, it was typically taking them $25,000 worth of time to review that matter. Because it was like, let's say you took $1,000 an hour and it was 25 hours to do the work. They have now, on their internal systems, been able to take that and reduce it down to 2 hours. And of course, what do you think the executives in the company think of that?
They're not happy. Not happy,
right?
It's a process company. Time is literally money, but the longer way.
That's right. So do you know what they've done? They halved the price of that. That used just to be a set package price, $25,000 to do that type of review process. They halved it because they now have the tooling to do it. And that same lawyer can do 2, 3, 4 of them in the same amount of time. So they're making way more money, but the client's getting something at half the cost they used to be charging.
Beautiful.
Or be charged.
Yeah.
So there are new models, right?
Is it beautiful? Is that what we should start creating for ourselves? More work?
But what I'm saying, the person didn't create more work, right? They were able to get through more work for the same amount of time, but the revenue generation was exponential. But at the same time, the customer got a cheaper or a more cost-effective option.
Okay, so I understand that. However, I do believe that is not the same.
Is Mark drinking a margarita there?
It's night for him.
It's a Paloma.
Oh, nice. Well,
We stand corrected.
It's my zone.
Sorry, this one has grapefruit in it.
It's healthy. Oh, sorry.
It's from my garden as well. Not the tequila, but the grapefruit.
I just saw the salt rim. I was thinking, that's more than just a nice lemonade. That's lemonade with style. Yeah, it's great.
It's evening my time. It's evening.
Yeah, it's nighttime. It's totally allowed. And I'm so jealous. I wish I could have one of those tonight, actually.
Yeah, I've got pouring water. It's
I'm always quite inspired when Donna Sarkar goes on a productivity panel. Not just because it's amusing as hell to see her, because she's very expressive, right? And it's like all of these other people who are, I don't know, pitching in their ideas, and Donna's like, a superstar in Microsoft, and then she has like 7 other businesses that are all successful. And the idea of anybody trying to teach her how to be more productive is just hilarious. But she's always talking about how we should absolutely not try to create more work for ourselves. We should go on a holiday with that time, honestly.
Agreed.
Because and I think she's right, because when you do that review and you create 3 reviews instead of 2, it's not like, exactly like Mark and I were talking about before. It's not like you give the AI, oh, make me a review for this as well. You're actually switching context. You need to read all of it. You need to modify.
There's cognitive load, right?
And the cognitive load, arguably, is much higher in churning out 3 than in doing just 1, because there's no routine elements in there. So, like, do we want our heads to explode so that our customers have a cheaper product?
There's a few things there, isn't it? I think we will. I mean, those in senior and exec roles like yourself and Mark, Anna, you know, your context switching abilities obviously going to be much more tuned than those that are more, you know, just focusing on one project at a time. So I do think you do get the ability to switch contexts in a much more efficient way, depending on your job and your focus. I also think when it's an interesting point, because I do agree. I mean, I'm going to champion holidays over work any day of the week, but tools have always been there to increase our ability to do to become more performant. So let's ignore tech. We talk about tech on this podcast for obvious reasons. But if I was a carpenter and I made chairs and tables and furniture, and I did that only with hand tools, the moment I saw a drill was invented, I could probably make a lot more, and I could sell a lot more. I could be a lot more efficient. And I have to switch context between a chair and a table and whatever. I can't think of any other object made of wood at the moment. That's very weird. But but I can do more that time, generate more income to a point, and also make my clients more happy by reducing the amount of time I'm spending on it, and increase my productivity, probably giving me a certain amount of dopamine. So I do think there is a balance between the two. I think we must take on the benefits, but also give back some of those benefits to the employees, i.e. you've worked hard for this, let's maybe reduce to 4 days a week rather than 5.
Yeah. And I see that becoming a possibility. I was in a session at MVP Summit, and this whole thing or discussion came up on productivity, and this lady, and I'm not sure who it was to give her credit, but she was like, I am hyper productive. I don't need AI to make me productive. I just want to go home and be with my family at a reasonable time and finish work and feel like I have achieved something without still having a pile left at the office to go home to. And she goes, so I'm not interested in productivity. I'm interested in a bit of my getting my time back. That's what she saw the goal of AI, should be. And Meg did an interesting post about a month ago. She said, be very careful where you start using AI to replace roles inside an organization, because one, you lose that organization knowledge that could be built up over time. And you would have had a budget for the headcount for that role from your CFO. The minute that budget is being clawed back by the CFO and you've let that person go,
it's done.
Good luck to trying to get the budget to spend on something else in your group. It's gone.
Yeah.
So be very careful on how you think about these things. Yeah,
no, I absolutely agree with that, and I think it's understanding what the cutoff point is, isn't it? I think if to me, just getting those normal, and a bit like all of us, just that 9 to 5, that would be rather lovely, and then cutting back to a 4-day a week. I think you see that as a future direction. But the problem is, we live in a very capitalistic world, don't we?
We do.
The invisible hand is always there. Adam Smith is twerking away in the background. Don't know why I said twerking, but I'm going to go with it. That is a horrible image, isn't it?
I'm curious, actually, Will, because you obviously you are an exec leading many teams and a bunch of individuals, and you're involved in many projects. How do you feel like your work or work-life balance, or how did we call it? Integration is working now after so many months of AI? Like, is it Because I can imagine if all of these people are now using AI to create output, and therefore the outcomes are even more generous, even more intense. How do you feel?
It's a really interesting question. For me, I'm an insecure overachiever personally. So if I'm already quite hyper productive in a very messy, chaotic way, I just see it as my ability to do even more, impress even more, help even more, work even more. And I think that's not a work thing. That's a me thing. And I think a lot of us actually share elements of that. And I think this is why we all get on so well, because we're just always insatiably curious. And I think I'm powered by just professional anxiety constantly. It's what's enabled me to sort of move forward. I think from a wider team perspective, that is the key focus at the moment, which is how can I make the teams more efficient using sort of intelligent IDEs, using the ability to write out user stories a lot quicker, taking notes in teams, etc. So I think all that has enabled them to get rid of a lot of the boring stuff that they don't enjoy, and steer the projects that they're on to a sharper quality of success. And quality is key there for me. I think that quality word is what it's driving more and more of. We're seeing less issues in projects now because people have more time to get those documentations done, to get the write-ups done, and to get their coding standards to a good place. I think that's where I'm personally seeing improvement. I'm not saying it's absolutely shaped our world, and I'm not saying we've rolled it out to absolutely everybody. We're still in the process of doing that. The thing about AI is it does come with a price tag, and you know what budgets are. They're every 12 months. So, let's have some realism. And I won't just say it's all shiny, but we are slowly getting there. So, I mean, Anna, you left what's it, a year or so ago, and we've increased the rollout since then, onwards and onwards. So I think in another year's time, I'll be able to give you an even better answer.
Right. No, that's brilliant, and that's exactly what I thought, complete with the overachiever anxiety thing too.
Insecure overachiever, yeah.
Right, and I guess that's what I was trying to get at. It's a real danger that we will all kind of do that more and more and more. And of course, everybody in this world in this capitalist world, everybody will get more and more outcomes, cheaper products.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like, where's the balance?
We could become productive exhaustion, couldn't we? It could get to that point. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I hope it doesn't.
Well, it's just Mark drinking a Paloma, having a chat. I mean,
Exactly. We need to wrap this up. Will, we haven't chatted for a while. Did you renew your MVP?
I did. Yeah. I was.
And what categories are you in?
Congratulations.
Mine. So I obviously, but maybe a bit personal. I've had an issue for the last year with my with a family member, so I haven't been able to contribute to the categories I'd prefer to. So they've kept me with CRM and Power Platform for now, but I'm hoping next year that will move more to an AI category where a lot of my focus has been for the last couple of years. But I'd have a bit of a chat and stay on those categories for now.
Yeah, nice. Well, after 13 years, I have been relieved of being a BizApps MVP.
And
I'm no longer. I'm now an AI platform MVP.
Mate, I love that. Congrats.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Congratulations.
I was pretty happy about the switch
really
over. And it's just a whole new world, right? It's a whole new world. And of course, you don't leave all your BizApps experience, for the last, in my case, 22 years. But I just feel like it's the next thing to build on with all that heritage in place.
Absolutely.
But there's just so much scope and there's so much to learn. I'm just finding I am now there's no way you can switch off learning these days.
You're not wrong.
True.
With that, 41 minutes in, we should wrap this up. And I've got another meeting to go to. I know you do, Anna. Will, it's been great chatting to you. Thanks for
Great to see you, Will.
I'm gonna go make 10
yeah,
million.
go make your 10 million pounds. Cheers, guys. Good talking to you all.
Ciao, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning into the Ecosystem Show. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and thought-provoking. And maybe you had a laugh or two. Remember, your feedback and challenges help us all grow. So don't hesitate to share your perspective. Stay connected with us for more innovative ideas and strategies to enhance your software estate. Until next time, keep pushing the boundaries and creating value. See you on the next episode.
Are you ready to accelerate your career in the Microsoft ecosystem? The 90-Day Mentoring Challenge, created by Mark Smith, is your opportunity to create a personalized pathway to success. Join over 1,200 alumni from more than 70 countries who have achieved remarkable results, from promotions to new job opportunities. Take it from Nathan, who said, "Since completing the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge, I've become an MVP in business applications and doubled my income." Or from Parves, who shares, "I've never felt as inspired or energized about my career as I do now." Sign up at arcor.nz365guide.com. You can find the link in the show notes. And if you use the code podcast, you'll get 10% off.